I think they're still happy. I think they're still pleased.
I hope so. I poured my heart and soul.
I know you should.
Really hard to come up with. It's not every day you come up with a question like that. You should be good.
Are we good to go, Jeff? Okay, we're good to go. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Even though it's spring break and you're all here, I'm not sure why you're all not down in Florida enjoying the beautiful weather down there. I don't know why I'm up here, but, well, I have to be here, obviously. But thank you for coming this week. Welcome to RITSEC. Hope everyone's having a great afternoon/morning. If you go ahead and sign in at signin.ritsec.club, the link never changes, FYI. Be greatly appreciated. So, and then we're going to get started here in just a second. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started, so you can please pipe down. Attention, hello, hi, how's it going? Hey, what's up? So we have a special guest, a special announcement from Rob Olson, so give him a warm welcome.
All right. Okay, so 2 quick announcements. This will really only take a minute. So first, CPTC. If you're interested in CPTC tryouts, please make sure you sign up at the main office. Second, we are potentially looking for more TAs for the fall semester. So if you are interested in that, I'm not going to say go up to the main office yet because we're reworking some processes relating to TAs, but keep an eye out for announcements. Okay. Yeah. So it's a good way to get paid, to do some interesting stuff, and to help out your classmates. Any questions?
Are those all levels?
What?
Are those like all levels of classes?
Yeah, there will probably be specific classes. Like I said, we're still reworking some policies relating to TAs, but it will probably be lower level classes. That being said, there is definitely room for TAs and graders for upper level classes as well. But you will, generally speaking, have to have taken the class before and have done well in it. Other questions? Yeah.
What level of experience are you looking for people to try out?
For CPTC? Yeah. Anybody. Yep. So anyone's welcome. It's going to be very much, here's an environment, go pen test it for a week. So, and then write a report. Other questions? Cool. Hand it back over to Russ then.
Thanks, Rob. Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Chris. You want to come up and talk about RITSEC? Oh, yeah. Give him a warm welcome. Come on. Clap it up.
RITSEC. This is the competition that comes after ISTS, which makes it twice as good.
He's not even here to defend himself.
Dang, oh, I thought he was. Okay, I take it back. White team signups, the link is there. It's pretty dense, so like wait for the slides to be posted, I suppose. Blue team sign-up link is coming on Workplace, so check Workplace and announcements. And yeah, this is a great competition. If you're looking to do blue teaming and you're scared of ISTS, this is a good way to get started.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for the link to be much nicer looking.
It's going to be whiteteam.ritsec.club in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, to repeat, in T-minus 5 minutes, go to whiteteam.ritsec.club to sign up for white team. And blue team, TBA. But yeah, definitely check out RITSEC, guys, and definitely either do white team or blue team. It's really worth the experience, and it's a great time. You'll get to learn a lot. So, so next announcement is, do you guys want RITSEC swag? Who wants RITSEC swag? Yeah. We all want RITSEC swag, don't we? Yeah. So I like the enthusiasm.
It's not just like free, like we do. Actually, we're giving it to you at cost, though. We're not making money on
We're not making money. I'm definitely not pocketing it and buying a new laptop. Trust me, I'm not doing that. But seriously, there's a form at swag.ritsec.club. If you guys could go ahead and fill it out. This is only to gauge interest. This isn't like a, oh, I want this, right? It's just to gauge interest and see how many people want swag. And so if you guys seem pretty enthusiastic, so go fill it out and let us know, and we will, look for more announcements shortly, either in the workplace or be here, and we'll announce it. So, yeah. All right, and last, but certainly not least, we have the sponsors. So I want to thank our platinum sponsors. So thank you to all these companies. They make what we do possible. Give a round of applause for our sponsors. And then also our gold, silver, and bronze. So thank you very much. We appreciate all the support for these wonderful, wonderful companies. Definitely check them out. So without further ado, we have a very special guest talking about Blue Team Linux. So if you're deciding to Blue Team for RITSEC this year, this is a great presentation. Get your notebooks out and start taking notes, because we got one of the best Blue Teamers to talk about it. Week 8, Linux Blue Teaming, Chris Fantine. Give him a warm welcome again.
I couldn't see anything with the sunglasses, so I had to take them off. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Linux Blue Teaming today. So Linux, unfortunately, is not just one thing, right? Whereas Windows, you can kind of get by knowing one set of features or binaries. There's a lot of different Linux distributions to work with. It takes a bit to get used to. The big thing you're going to be a pretty important thing to do for Blue Teaming is your 5-minute plan. This is like a plan to get started. When you first sit down, usually you have it all written out pretty explicitly, so you don't have to worry about remembering what to do, kind of have it in front of you. And so your goal here is to do really quick actions that you can do in under 5 minutes that eliminate the most risk, right? So removing default passwords, setting firewall rules, looking for malicious processes. These are things that take a very short amount of time that are very effective at removing red team presence from your boxes. Complex stuff doesn't really belong in your 5-minute plan, right? So you're not going to be removing any rootkits in the first 5 minutes. You're not going to be installing a logging server in the first 5 minutes. It's really just like hitting the ground running on your designated boxes. Here's an example plan. It's pretty short. It's changing the root password, disabling non-root accounts, adding your own admin account, that sort of thing. You can usually do that in the first 30 seconds getting on a box. Limiting sudo users and SSH users, again, another 30-second task that drastically decreases red team access to your box. Setting up firewall rules, it's going to stop a lot of malware callbacks, and is also pretty short if you have the script ready to go and you've practiced writing it. And reinstalling critical binaries. Reinstalling like SSHD or Nginx or other binaries that may have been shimmed by red team. Yeah, so following the kind of pattern of doing high impact, low effort stuff, the first 4 things you can do very quickly and have really high impact on securing against red team. And so that's kind of the stuff you want to look to put in your 5-minute plan. Yeah, let's talk about all the persistence you can face on Linux. This is by far not an exhaustive list, but it's quite a lot of stuff. These are the common things you're looking for. Backdoored service files are a big one. Red teamers often will just write a service that starts malware. Web shells, if you're running a web server. Alias commands. pam.d, which is how Linux handles authentication for a lot of things. Really easy to misconfigure. Let's talk about defending against a couple of these. So backdoor service files, like we talked about. This is pretty simple. Be familiar with how services work on your system. So if it's systemd or systemctl, know how the structure of a service file so you can look through and locate what binaries are running, when it's running, and be familiar with what good services look like on your system so you're not removing necessary services. Like don't go deleting SSH on a cloud box because you think it's malware, right? Web shells, again, be familiar with your system. Know what PHP web shells look like. you should be able to glance through some PHP code and quickly determine if there's like an eval shell or something common in there. Backdoored binaries, this can be really hard to tell without hashing every binary what is good and what's bad. Generally, it's just good to reinstall the things you use the most. Cron jobs, know where the cron directory is. Change your passwords. One thing that wasn't on that a lot of people forget, but is a really simple fix, bash rc, input rc, bash profile. These are all these are files in your home directory and in the etc directory.
On
Yes.
cron jobs, go back to that real quick. What was there? You just said know the cron directory?
Yeah, know the cron directories and cron tab.
Yeah, there's also a global one that people
Yeah.
can protect.
Which is like cron tab.-e, right?
That's a cron tab.
Etc cron tab. So the bash rc, input rc, bash profile, these are in generally all user home directories and the etc directory. This does things like execute code or replace user input while they're running stuff. A lot of people miss stuff from here, and it's a really easy fix. Like there should basically be nothing in these files. So be familiar with what a good file looks like, and be aware of what's happening. pam.d, like I said, how Linux handles authentication. So learn what a legit pam.d configuration looks like. You should be able to quickly look down the list. PAM configuration files consist of like a check to do and then a PAM module to run. If a bunch of those are set to permit, it's just allowing authentication. So make sure you know what legit ones look like so you can know what bad ones look like. And disable where possible. SSH should not use PAM. It's really easy to backdoor. Use not that. If you have a modified boot record, master boot record, you're playing Flappy Bird now, so it's not a great way to remove that. Rootkits, the person to talk about this with, if you want to learn more about removing them, is Jack. Generally looking for tainted kernel messages with that dmessage command up there is sufficient for locating bad kernel modules, unsigned kernel modules. Let's talk about firewall in your boxes. So when you start the competition, you're going to have no firewalls, right? We got some backdoor, some malware out there calling back on various ports. These are ports that otherwise are not service ports, right? So maybe this malware is listening on 54232. There's no service I'm familiar with that runs on that. Leet, while a dope port is not a service that generally listens with a valid service. So what we want to do with our firewall rules is go about removing this type of access from Red Team. These commands right here, this is going to set the firewalls to automatically draw connections in and out and only allow Apache. So now we've reduced our surface for connections Red Team can make out to port 80. So now Red Team can only make connections out or can only make connections inbound to Apache on port 80 effectively, or listen with raw sockets. So we've significantly reduced where Red Team can listen with malware. And again, this is a very quick and powerful way to limit Red Team access. However, you can easily shoot yourself in the foot by blocking connections you otherwise need. So maybe you've allowed Apache, but if you're on a cloud box and you forget to allow SSH, guess what? You're locked out of that box now, and there's not really a way you're going to be able to get back. In this example, this team has forgot to allow SQL, and so their Apache can't hit the MySQL database, and the common complaint is Red Team broke everything. But in fact, no, it was them forgetting to write the necessary firewall rules. So add the rules you need. This is a pretty common blue team thing, is to not realize it's your fault that something broke. And a big way you end up screwing yourself over is by writing bad firewall rules. So double check your rules, kind of logically think it through, right? And make sure you're allowing what's necessary. I've included a couple quick ways to locate malware. These are commands you should be running like in your free time, basically. PSEF or PSOX are going to do process listings. So OX is specific to user and EF is all. Look through these. Sometimes Red Team will run malware called malware.py, right? That should be easy to find in a process listing. This is a pretty quick way to get rid of some of the malware that's easy to find and not let that linger. Unnecessary network connections. So in order for malware to communicate with a command and control server, it has to make network connections. So it's either listening or establishing a connection back. Netstat or SS in the updated IP tools is the way to look for listening connections. So this is another quick way to be like, what's listening? Oh, there's something listening on port 1337. And then go about removing that. And again, looking for kernel taint for bad modules. Here's some common reasons that your uptime sucks. The first one is they're off. I can't tell you the number of times I've talked to a blue team about their service and they're real stressed. Oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. Oh, and they haven't tried turning the service on. So big hint, if your service is off, you actually can't score with it. So do try to turn it on before you do anything else. And when you turn it on, usually it'll give you an error if there's something else wrong, and you can work from there. But if you never try to turn the service on, there's no way you're ever going to score from it. Turn things on. Blocking, as we talked about in the previous slide, blocking your own stuff with firewalls is another common way teams lock themselves out. I can hit my box on localhost, but I can't. It's not scoring. What's going on? Oh, my firewall blocks all outbound connections. Yeah, that'll do it. Misconfiguring your boxes. Red team will do this sometimes. Generally, it's blue teams doing this to themselves. Check var log. Every error is logged generally, unless it's something terrible. But generally, everything's logged, and it'll give you explicit instructions. I know, like bind will tell you the line on your config where you have something wrong. So it's pretty easy to walk through fixing problems this way, and know what good configs look like, so you can be aware of where errors might occur. Still don't know? Check the logs. Check the service status. It's probably in the logs. 90% of the time, you can find the answer in the logs. Worst case scenario, you can beg red team. You usually don't have to go this far, and it's unnecessary embarrassment. When things are burning, so this is usually towards the end of the competition, hopefully, stay calm. The worst thing you can do when your boxes are burning is to panic and then kill more services, right? So assess the situation, figure out what you need to fix or how you need to approach the problem. Check your firewalls, check your logs. Don't start killing processes, right? If things are down, you're not going to solve that problem by deleting services and killing processes. This really hurt us in CDT when we may or may not have brought down Graylog because it looked bad, man. Some more advanced stuff past your general free time checks or 5-minute plan. You can't manage everything at once, right? So you need to set up some sort of monitoring. So setting up some sort of monitoring can help if you have the time during a competition. Some tools like OS Query or OSSec can help with this. Splunk is pretty hefty, but it is one of the things that does that. So think about as more of a strategy as time opens up and you start to lock down your boxes. Think about pivoting to a set of tools that allow you to do this quickly across multiple machines. And some things to look for on these new logging platforms you're setting up. SSH logins. Red team, most of the time, is just logging in through SSH. This logs if you have it configured properly. IP tables logs. Is red team changing the IP tables rules often? Something happening there. File integrity, so detecting if red team is replacing binaries. The SSH binary gets replaced a lot. I replace ls with a script that just runs malware and then ls's. So checking that binaries are the right binaries. Failed sudo attempts, so after you've locked users out of sudo, are they still trying to sudo? That would be indicative of red team still having access to those accounts. Be careful about alert fatigue, though. If you're blasting yourself with alerts for logs that are invalid or useless, or red team's doing 1,000 tries a second for a specific user, it's not useful, right? You're not going to be able to parse those logs. You might fill up disk space if you're running Graylog. So be aware that don't go too far in your logging. There is such a thing as too much logs. Any questions? Thank you.
Nick, can I just unplug this? Plug mine in? This works, it's gonna be so great. Oh wait, I should probably put the post on Workplace. I won't. I'll do that after. Hey guys, look, we have challenges back again.
HTTPS.
Yeah, can you see that? It's secure now.
Now you don't have to worry. I got nothing.
So we have the old scoreboard. If you see anything wrong with this scoreboard, please tell me. I'm sure things are messed up. We don't have the old CTFD scores, so I bet a lot of the advanced networking and advanced Linux are messed up. Reach out to me, tell me if this is wrong, and I will change it. And I'll update everything so we can actually have scores and a graph.
Oh.
Well, maybe. Maybe.
Hey!
Yeah. It'll look cooler when there's more than 2 people. All right, I'm going to push that post to Workplace now. To start downloading the challenge VM, it's week8.ritsec.club.
Ooh.
Yeah, you see that? I memorized it.
Just one VM.
Yeah, it's just one VM.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Email's not.
You can manually reset them.
That's true.
Never mind.
Just you have to go to, if you forget your password, go to Scoot.
Yeah, if at the moment, if you forget your password,
Oh, in the admin.
message me on Workplace, and I believe I can reset it. We don't have email set up right now, and that will be set up soon. Soon, TM.
Or remote into the MySQL database, hash the password, put it into the account.
Be sure to cause a couple errors so it
Who's ready for some bumpin' tunes?
Yeah.
All right, please.